Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Martin Wrestling, and today I'm going to begin my comments, opinions, and the results of WWE Raw, 21st of November 2016. We start with Bill Goldberg walking backstage, making his way to the ring. He passes many of Raw's wrestlers and backstage people. He gets to the ring and he says he wants to take this opportunity to thank everyone. He said, "You guys gave him the ability to be Goldberg again. Breaking kayfabe, good job there, mate. You gave him the ability to grab the limelight he yearned for." He said he wanted to thank his wife because he can be a moody son of a bitch. Sorry for the swearing. Especially during the 6 or 7 weeks he was training. He said he wanted to thank his boy because he gave him the ability and desire to be a superhero again. He said he did what he said he was going to do. He came, he fought, and he conquered the beast. There's some reality in life that all good things must come to an end. Then a funny thing happened in the back after the match. He ran into Stephanie McMahon, and she told him that he had one more spear, one more jackhammer, and one more ass kicking in him. She then looked him in the eyes and asked if he had one more title run left in him. He responded by saying, "You bet your ass I have one more title run left in me." And then he said the road to the title match is through the Royal Rumble. At the Royal Rumble match, everyone is next. He throws him up behind him and leaves. I don't know if I'm just like the 1% here, but I absolutely loved their match at the pay-per-view. I thought him kicking the shit out of Brock Lesnar was the greatest thing ever. I hate that cookie son of a bitch. I really do. And this opening segment was really good, and I'm glad they're doing a story with it as well. Then we move straight on to a little squabble in the back between the New Day, Cesaro and Sheamus. Big E and Sheamus getting at each other's faces and a shoving match, and then Cesaro breaks him up. Then we go to the ringside, and then New Day making their entrance. Xavier says last night at Survivor Series, they led their team to victory, and they did get eliminated a little early, to be fair. Great captains always get their team to the promised land. Big E says batten down the hatches because the white whale is in sight. Xavier said they've held these titles longer than anybody else in the history of WWE. Back in the day, they were different tag team titles, though. And they were held by Demolition, and they held them titles for 478 days. Kofi said in 23 days that record will be demolished. Xavier says there are so many teams that want to interrupt their tag title reign. It does not matter if you're Gallows, Anderson, Enzo, Cass, or the Shining Stars. And then they mention Sheamus and Cesaro, and they call him Cesaro, and he says they will not be denied. Then we have that match. It was alright, to be fair. The finish was really good, to be fair. Cesaro had Kofi in a sharpshooter. Sheamus took out Big E with a bro kick. Then Xavier got on the rope, distracted the referee while Kofi was tapping out. Cesaro released the hold, making him look really stupid, to be fair. And then tried to get Xavier, and then Kofi rolled up Cesaro with an inside cradle for a 3 count. I just think it's weird how they're winning with heel tactics. I don't get that. But as long as it's working for them, I like it. Jericho was walking in the back with his list and his bag. He was then asked about his reaction to his team's loss at Survivor Series. He said that Team Raw fell apart when the list of Jericho was used as a weapon, when his deepest secrets were strewed all over the place. He tells the person that someone is to blame, and on the highlight reel, he'll tell everyone who is to blame. Then we go to the weirdest and possibly one of the greatest segments in Raw in the last few years. Enzo Amore is trying to get into the men's locker room and he's telling Cass to give him his clothes back. We then see a pixelated Enzo Amore's private parts, and this wasn't it's fake pixelation. He was naked. He was stark bollock naked. This was batshit insane. I have not seen anything like it in absolutely ages. Why was he naked? I don't get it. Fun though, but I don't get it. Then he was walking backstage. He was stopped by Epico and Primo, and they said they have a special resort for him. Titus O'Neil walked by and told him to put clothes on. Enzo then stopped, and then we see Lana next to him. He awkwardly goes, "How you doing?" Rusev walks in and says, "Why are you naked next to my wife? Rah, Rusev, rah!" And then Cass comes in and says there's a problem, and then Rusev and Enzo argue. Rusev then tells him to put clothes on so he can crush him in the ring. I thought it was weird, but absolutely amazing. I don't know why it happened, but it was so funny. Then we go backstage to Stephanie McMahon and Mick Foley talking about how happy they are about Goldberg being in the Royal Rumble. Mick Foley talked about how they dominated Survivor Series by winning 3 of the 5 matches. Foley then asked Stephanie if she was really going to fire the 5 members of Team Raw for losing. Stephanie said she wasn't because she was just trying to motivate them, but said there may still be some punishment coming for certain people. Sami Zayn then popped in. Foley said that he had no idea that Zayn looked up to him as a youngster. Mick said that he was a believer in Sami, but Zayn didn't bring the Intercontinental Championship home to Raw. Foley said there had to be ramifications for failure, so he put Zayn in a match against Braun Strowman. Stephanie seemed very happy about this. Mick didn't seem that happy. Then we go to a cruiserweight match. Daivari got on mic and said he heard that Canada was better than the United States. Now he's here. Canadians are no different than Americans. Got him some very good heel heat. Then we had Cedric Alexander versus Daivari. Good match, to be fair. Alexander hit a springboard clothesline followed by a lumbar check for the win. I don't know what any of that is, a lumbar check, but we're going to go with it. Then we go to the highlight reel. Chris Jericho welcomes everyone and says tonight's going to be a special edition because this is an autopsy to the biggest upset in Survivor Series history when Team Raw lost to Team SmackDown. When a tragedy like this happens, people want answers and who was at fault. Kevin Owens' music hits, he comes out, makes his way to the ring, passes Chris without acknowledging him and gets a mic. Kevin says that he is here to talk about who is to blame. Chris says that is what he's going to do. Kevin mentions the Geritron at 5,000. Chris says it is the Geritron at 6,500. Kevin shows Chris about to get Styles Clash, but we see Kevin hitting AJ to protect him because he is his best friend. Chris asks if he is his best friend, he would know how much the list means to him. To hit him with it as a foreign object, Kevin asks who cares. Chris said the list means everything to him. Kevin says he was saving Chris. He got eliminated by hitting AJ. Chris cared so much about the list, he turned into an RKO. Kevin asked for the monkey to see the photo. Kevin said that's not just an RKO, that's a waste of his sacrifice and a waste of their friendship. Chris says if that's how he feels, then maybe they don't have much of a friendship. He says that Kevin is never there when he needs help. He never has his back. Chris says he knows who's at fault. Kevin tells him to say it. Chris says that he's finished with this conversation. He's finished with Kevin. Kevin tells Chris whose fault it is. They both say Roman Reigns, and they hug. Kevin says Chris knows that he would not compromise the list. Chris says that Roman did not help. Kevin said he was standing next to Roman. Roman did not help on the apron. Roman was sweating conditioner. Kevin said that Roman's other hair conditioner brother Seth Rollins is at fault too. Seth makes his way out. He says he has a bone to pick with them. Kevin says that Seth's given him a headache. Seth says for being on the team with you two scumbags, he was presented with some opportunities. The future is now and he wants a one-on-one match for the Universal title and he wants a match tonight. Kevin tells the crowd to stop chanting yes because it's no longer relevant. Chris says he does not believe a word he is saying. He is the architect of fallacy and lies. He asked if Seth digs. Seth says he digs and he will be taking that title away from Kevin. Since they are joined at the hip, he will have to run through them both. Seth attacks Chris and Kevin, but the numbers take advantage. Roman Reigns comes out to make the save. Clothesline to Jericho, then punches Owens. Rollins with the forearm in the corner. The Reigns with a punch. Roman sends Jericho to Seth for a pedigree, but Jericho escapes. He runs into a Superman punch. Mick Foley comes out and tells Seth that he will get a future opportunity, and he said that it will happen. Roman Reigns and Chris Jericho will be banned from ringside when Seth Rollins faces Kevin Owens in a no disqualification match tonight. I really did like the highlight reel. It made everyone look really good. It's helping build up the Kevin Owens Chris Jericho split, and I can't wait for that. Seth Rollins is going to get a title match. It's going to be good. It was really good highlight reel. Then we go to Enzo Amore and Big Cass making their entrance. Enzo says he knows that Lana is rushing, but she could have taken him to dinner first because only fools rush in. Enzo asks if Lana really wanted to see him naked, she would have just done what every Russian does and hack his phone. Colin says he knows why he's angry, because if we saw him without any clothes, they would only have one word to describe him. S-A-W-F-T, soft! Then we have the match. Rusev absolutely destroys Enzo Amore in less than a minute. The win happened when he locked in the accolade and he tapped. It was a kind of disappointment to see him get dominated, but it makes Rusev look so good. And I love Ruru. Then we go to a number one contendership match for the tag team titles. The Golden Truth versus the Club. Why did they get a tag team title number one contendership match? Seriously, why? Why? Well, obviously we know Anderson and Gallows go over in this with the Magic Killer and Goldust for the 3 count, but still. Then we go to match 5, Sami Zayn versus Braun Strowman. Braun absolutely dominates him. He gets Zayn into the Tree of Woe. Mick Foley comes out to stop the match, and Braun Strowman wins by general manager's stoppage or something like that. Some random crap. But I don't know if this didn't benefit anybody, because Zayn just now looks even weaker than he did before. For the love of God, just hashtag push Sami Zayn. Then we go to Charlotte making her way to the ring with Dana Brooke. Charlotte asks for them to put Charlotte's post-match attack on Bayley on the Titantron. She said she will watch that on the WWE Network for years to come. For you huggable types, it does not matter how endearing you are. She is the queen. She said that she's the Wayne Gracie of WWE, and then she said she's better than Wayne Gracie. She says she does not have to team with those raw peasants because she's above them all. Sasha Banks come out and she says, "It's good to see you, Sasha. How are you?" She tells Charlotte to shut up. Now Survivor Series over, she's entitled to a title match and she wants it right here, right now. Charlotte says that she has to give her credit because no matter how many times she beats her and embarrasses her, she keeps coming. Sasha and Toronto want to see this, so why not do it one more time? She says she's on, but not tonight. Charlotte says boobs will not change things. Raw next week is where the Queen was born, Charlotte, North Carolina. She tells the dumb Canadians that is in the United States. Charlotte says she beat Sasha in Sasha's hometown. Now she gets to beat her in Charlotte's hometown. Nia Jax makes her way to the ring. She says she's not here for Charlotte, she's here for Sasha. Nia says she dominated in the SmackDown team. But who didn't dominate last night? Sasha. Nia, you've tapped out. Do you forget the fact that you tapped out like a little baby to Becky Lynch that's about half your size? Or are you just forgetting that one? I don't know. I thought that was a major flaw in that. And then she goes, the WWE Universe is completely fooled by the glitz and the glamour, but she isn't. She calls Sasha a purple hair overrated Barbie doll. Sasha says when she gets her title back, she'll show how overrated she is. Charlotte tries to stir the pot. Nia says that when you stand next to her, she is not the boss. Jane tries to stir things up, but Sasha hits her. Nia runs Sasha into the corner and hits a splash. Nia holds Sasha for Charlotte to chop her. Bayley comes out to make the save, and then Nia just knocks her off the apron after throwing Sasha onto the floor. Then we go to Sasha Banks and Bayley versus Nia Jax and Charlotte. The finish happened when Sasha Banks locked in the bank statement on Charlotte for the tap out. It was an alright match and an alright segment. It helped progress the stories along a little bit, but I kind of felt like it focused on Sasha and Nia Jax, not Charlotte and Bayley. So I thought there was a bit of a fatal flaw in that way, but that could be an interesting rivalry, to be fair. We know Sasha's not going to win the belt back. She'd best not bloody win the belt back. There's no point, is there? Then we go to Seth Rollins in the back, and he's asked about facing Kevin Owens in a no disqualification match for the championship. Seth brings up that Chris Jericho is banned from ringside. He says that Chris cost him the last 2 title matches. He is not banned from using anything to become the Universal Champion. The Universal title is for the best of the best, and he said he is the best of the best. It will come full circle tonight when he redesigns, reclaims and rebuilds Raw with the Universal title. Then we have another Cruiserweight match, Rich Swann versus Noam Dar versus TJ Perkins to become number 1 contender, and they get their shot at 205 Live. Rich won with a rolling thunder to break a knee bar, and then Swan with a spin kick on TJ Perkins for the win. It was a really good match, to be fair. I kind of happy that Rich Swan won. I really do want to see him go against Brian Kendrick. It could be really good. Then we go to Kevin Owens in the interview area. He tells Renee, it's not actually Renee, it's that other girl, that he knows that he'll be defending the title in a few moments. He's ready for the match, but it's not what he expected in Toronto. He thought last night would be a great night, but he had to watch Seth Rollins fail again. He proved that he was the best champion in WWE when he powerbombed AJ Styles so hard his stupid hair fell off. Kevin said he did not get pinned while Seth Rollins did. The Architect was a failure. Seth failed Raw and Seth failed Kevin. He will admit that Seth Rollins is very good. Stephanie made him a deal to give Seth Rollins a title match. Kevin said that the reward he got is going to be a punishment for failing the team and failing Kevin. No disqualification match for the title does not come any bigger. He tells Renee, and then he actually realises it's not Renee, and he says, "Who are you?" And then he walks away. It was quite funny. Then we go to Enzo and Cass doing a merchandise promo. Then we go to the Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins match. They did brawl a bit around the arena, so it was a really, really good match. It did feel like a proper title match with no disqualification stipulations on it. There was a lovely spot. Kevin Owens was going for a power bomb, but Seth Rollins caught the railing, climbed up it, and then got a forearm onto Kevin Owens. It was absolutely beautiful. The finish happened when Kevin Owens was next to the announce table. Seth Rollins was on the barricade. He was ready to jump onto Kevin, but a masked person pushed him off. When they had a little bit of a scrap, it turned out to be Chris Jericho when the mask got pulled off. Jericho got onto the barricade to jump onto Rollins, but got caught and got pedigreed. He then turned around into a super kick from Owens, and then a powerbomb straight onto the apron. And then Owens wins the match, and they celebrate. And it was a really, really good episode of Raw, I thought, to be fair. Not the greatest, but it's definitely stepped up a bit compared to the last few weeks. I'm just really looking forward to SmackDown, though, because that should be so much better. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I'll catch you later.
This singles match is over.